I remember a simpler time, when a gold-earned pumpkin was just an evil satanic face with jagged teeth and not a scene out of Star Wars. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who carve complex images into pumpkins, but would you really trust them around your children? Yeah, that's what I thought. So to help me carve this jack-o'-lantern is the super stabby new flipper knife from Enlund, the EW054. Want to take bets on its weight? Now's your chance. Get in while you can. You're like, oh, I thought this was going to be another Spyderco review. Well, it's not, okay? Are you happy? The EW054 is a stout battle axe of a blade as evidenced by its overall length. Its blade length. Its cutting edge. Its handle size. The grip area. And then its weight, blade spine, and handle thickness. Now, like all Enlunds, this is built like a Buick, and the scales match the paint color of a Buick. Now, I'm not talking a Tiger Woods Buick. I'm talking like WW2, bro, like your grandpa used to own. Like other Enlunds, this blade is constructed out of a common Chinese HCR13 MOV steel. It has a satin finish with a trailing point blade, meaning it has a long belly and the tip sits higher than the blade spine. Some photos it doesn't look like it, but it definitely sits higher. And the grind seems to be either the slightest ever convex or maybe it's flat. It's hard to tell in the light without a magnifying glass, and I don't have one. So, blade centering's a little off. You got a nylon ring on one side of the Enlund side of the blade, and a brass on the side that says 8CR13 MOV, or the right side. The nylon one seems quite a bit thinner than the brass one, which may have something to do with the centering. Now, my $300 little Lion Spy has a nylon on both sides, so I don't know if it has anything to do with cost. Deployment on Enlunds is usually smooth, but the blades are heavy, so you got to hit the studs with force. It's a bigger and heavier knife than my Enlund EL01, but I'll put some 3-in-1 on the pivot to help it loosen up a bit. If you hit it and give it a slight flick of the wrist, it deploys nicely with the solid click with the big liner lock. And the pivot is just a large flathead screwdriver pivot, so no special tool required like on other Enlunds. It has thumb studs too, and you can deploy it that way, but I was getting my hands too close to the blade because the thumbs don't stick out that far, or the thumb studs don't. The liner lock is thick and solid. It almost feels like a frame lock. I know it's not, but it feels like one sort of. But it's still closable with one hand using your thumb and applying a medium to sometimes heavier amount of pressure. And if you look inside, there's 2 holes on the left side of the liner. So I guess it could have been heavier, right guys? The handle has 2 shallow textured G10 scales sitting on top of the full stainless steel liner, of course, with 2 holes. The G10 is a shallow textured variety, but still gives it a little bit of grip. The handle fits nicely in my hand, so it's plenty big for my hand. It has some jimping on the handle near the blade spine and some very large jimping near the bottom rear of the handle. The pocket clip is one way, tip up, blade backwards in my right pocket, ideal for the fastest deployment for righties using the flipper. No complaints for me, but if I were a lefty, I would seriously want to punch someone in the face. The 10 is not super strong. If you fling it hard enough, you can get the blade to lock open. Now, it won't fall out in your pocket, so we won't have a pants-a-dent. Okay, the EW054 is built like a Buick from the 50s. You're like, said that already. It's big, heavy duty, and probably on the heavy end for some people. It's great with pumpkin work and that sort of thing. The blade steel is fine. It's easily sharpened, but you'll need to sharpen it faster if you use it in a heavy-duty-ish fashion. Like kind of what you see in this video, because mine's a little dull now. It would make a good hunting folder because the tip is good for piercing, so you can get stuff with it. I'm sorry, I meant a pumpkin folder. Anyway, so I know pumpkin cutting is cool and all, but I remembered I had a piece of wood broken in half from my last batoning session, so it's kind of the right size for this. Now, I don't know if you're a little curious to see if the lock holds up, but I am, so as long as you won't tell anyone, I won't tell anyone. Alright, let's see if it can take it. Okay, it is a little difficult, especially on the knot side of the wood, so let's flip it over so there's not a knot, not a knot, not a knot, not a knot. Alright, let's beat it. The Enlund lock seems to hold up without disengagement through the duration of the batoning. All the way through the wood. Like I said, the liner lock is pretty stout, and although I had to tighten up the pivot due to the unnecessary batoning. Sorry, I meant necessary batoning. Okay, if you like this knife and like this review, buy it at GearBest through the link below. It seems to hover around $17 to $20. They provided this knife for review. So like my video, subscribe to my channel, check me out on the Instagrams where I feature pictures of things from upcoming reviews, old reviews, and things I find interesting. Thanks for watching, everyone.